Subnautica 2 came out. I mean, this is
today.
really recent
Just
news.
finished it
Yeah.
today.
Wait, did you actually?
Yeah, I did. I got all the way to
Wow.
all the content that they have.
I haven't yet, but I'm okay with spoilers because
I
I'm
won't
the type
spoil.
of guy.
Well, no.
The first time that I played. Oh,
You
do
don't
we
want
actually not
spoilers.
want to spoil?
You do not want
Spoil
Okay.
not for the audience at least.
Yeah, also true.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go into specifics, but I can go into like the general tastes of the game that I really enjoyed.
Okay. Me personally, when I played the first Subnautica, first of all, I watched it first, and I watched Dan TDM specifically. But only recently, I think in the last year, I actually played through it for myself, and oh my god, it was so good. I love the Cyclops, dude, the big ass submarine. But anyways, I didn't do the actual exploration part in the puzzles where you're like, voice log number 2. I think the entrance to the Lost River is like slightly northwest and like 800 meters past this thing. I was like, fuck no. I opened the debug menu, pulled up the YouTube guide, and just like navigated directly to the chords because I was like lazy as hell. I was like, I want the Cyclops. Which underwater wrecks do I need to visit and scan? Like I did zero exploration. I just went straight to the location.
You didn't fully experience.
You didn't play the game.
You didn't. So you basically didn't experience the full Subnautica.
I mean, I went through the story and I like built all the things, but I just didn't do any of the like. I'm a very impatient man. That's all I'll say.
Well,
Look,
I would highly recommend not doing that in the second.
right, because like I get like people like when it's like a puzzle game, and if you're like oh, this puzzle is just, I'm not having fun with it, I'm just gonna look up the solution. But like for the whole game,
Well, even if it's
Like,
just for like finding parts for the Cyclops, I mean, I think that a large part of the charm and the fear that you feel is like fear of the unknown, not just fear of the depths, but like going into a new area that you're like, oh, I haven't been here before, and then navigating your way home through an unknown area and coming across a Cyclops part, that joy you feel when you just happen to find the exact piece you're needing. You're like, oh my god, that's incredible, you know?
Okay,
I think it's
get
definitely not. I will say that in Subnautica 2, parts are not like this. In the first one, there are very specific places where the Cyclops parts are, and you have to check those places exact. So I get what you mean when you're like, oh, I've been searching forever for the Cyclops engine pieces, and I just can't find them. Then you look it up, it's like, oh, they're in the mushroom forest. Okay. But in Subnautica 2, I think that parts are spread out much, much further, and there are many more instances of them spawning. So I would especially not recommend doing that in the second game, because there are going to be plenty of opportunities for you to find new things and find the parts you're looking for without having to look up like where they are.
Yeah, and I think it's.
And I'm not saying that
designed,
like
I think it's designed specifically that way so that you can have the multiplayer.
Yes.
So that everyone, because I think it's pretty natural that everyone's going to split up at least a little bit. And so having like everyone be able to find something and not there being like the one specific place is very fun, because it feels like everyone's contributing at least.
Yeah, I'd say so. And I think that probably what they could have done a little better is maybe for some of those earlier, because there are some things, some blueprints where you scan, you need like 3 different scans, but then there are some of them that are really significant, like later in the game especially, and you need like 1 scan. But there are other places they could have put them. I'm sure that it's just early access, of course, give them slack, and like they're probably going to flesh out the area more and like where they're like balancing where to find all these blueprints. But dude, the amount of times that I found a work light blueprint, I'm gonna lose my mind. That thing is useless, and you need to scan it once, and yet they littered it at every single wreck site in the game.
It's like, ooh, I can scan it for 1 titanium. Yes. Like, I'll say the only like major complaint I had with the game was how poor it performed on my computer.
Really?
I don't know if it was because I was like playing it through Xbox Game Pass or what, but like I could not get over maybe 20 frames.
Oh, that's terrible. Whoa.
Oh my god.
And you turn your graphic settings down, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Wow. That's interesting. No, I had mine on like all high settings, I think, and it was running probably close to like 80 FPS. Because
if you look at the suggested like specs, it's like ridiculously high.
Yeah.
It's like a 3090 or something.
What? Yo.
Yeah, they do want you to have some pretty significantly high specs, which kind of sucks given the current state of the PC market.
Yeah, graphics recommended 16 gigabyte RAM, GeForce 3070 Ryzen 7 7700X.
Oh my god, bro. That's like pretty yeah.
And like my PC, like I match, I'm a bit higher than that, and it was running so poorly.
I almost wonder if maybe it was something else too, like graphics driver, or maybe you had like some overheating, or
yeah, because like
something could have been eating at your graphics.
And it might just be because it's through, because I was having like through the Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because I was also having a lot of problems because the reason I got Game Pass to begin with was my friend was like, oh, we want to play Forza Horizon 6 when it comes out. And I'm like, I'm not spending $70 or $80 or whatever to play Forza. So I just got Game Pass for that. But then I was also having a lot of problems with that as well. So it might be like some way that it's like running on my PC through the Xbox game launcher or something. I'm not sure.
I wouldn't be surprised.
What's your experience like? What upgrades have you seen, like without too many spoilers, between Subnautica 1 and Subnautica 2? Like, did they change any mechanics or quality of life things, or like
I won't even go into that.
Like, what's
I think
similar and
that's
different?
something to be experienced in itself. Like the quality of life, there are some quality of life, and they are incredible. And you will know them when you play, and you'll like figure. They don't even directly tell you that a lot of these quality of life improvements are in the game. But if you've played Subnautica 1 a lot, and you know the things like not the shortcomings, but the things that like they implemented in the game, they intentionally left out. They have put a lot of those things into the second game, I think, for the sake of diverting your attention away from having to deal with like the nitty gritty base building, farming, a tycoon, or not tycoon, but like the survivability aspect of the game. And they've leaned it a lot more towards like world build. Like you might think the first game had great world building. This one has better world building. This one's world building is better.
What?
And I think there's a certain way that they create the map that is different from the first game. And I think that it benefits the game a lot in the direction that they're going. It definitely changes the way you play the game. It's definitely less of a survivability and more so of a like exploration. You know, it's yeah. I'll leave it at that. It's very good, and the story's very good.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I really regret is that I didn't actually. I played a little bit of Subnautica 1 and I watched a bit of it as well, but I never really played it all that much. And so going into Subnautica 2, I don't really have a good reference. And I'm honestly kind of tempted to go back and play it.
I would.
After finishing 2.
I think Subnautica 1 lore, story-wise, you don't need to know Subnautica 1 lore to connect a lot to Subnautica 2. There are little references here and there. Like they'll make a reference to the person that you play as in the first game being like a trendsetter for being able to get off of that, planet. But apart from like a few of those things and referencing the precursors from the first game, I don't think that it's like incredibly necessary to know the story. But I think for the experience of the game, especially if you have not learned, if you don't like I have the map still memorized. Like to this day, I still, just from sheer exploration, like know when I go in which direction in accordance to like where the Aurora is. I know how to get to the floating island, the normal island, the blood kelp zone, the Grand Reef, like any of those places I know how to get to. And I think that that's like a thing that you can't get by just like looking at a map and just referencing the map the whole. You get that by like going and exploring and finding your way around the world.
Mm-hmm. And I guess this is like it's kind of a question where it's like, I know a lot of people find enjoyment in this kind of thing, but it's like, is the core enjoyment of like a game like Subnautica that feeling? Or because the thing is that you and Eddie had completely opposite experiences of that, but you still found enjoyment out of the game. And it's like, how, I guess what I'm saying is like, how important do you think that is to the core experience or not?
I think it depends on the person. I mean, you just said it perfectly that despite having very different approaches, I think that I just found a different part of Subnautica incredibly engaging because I love that game. Like it's a top 5 game for me, probably. And it was so fun, but I just skipped out on the part that I was impatient about, maybe a little childish and immaturely going through it, but also maybe I was just like, not trying to, I also like, don't like wasting my time. But I mean, in a sense, like I still really, really enjoyed that game. And so, I mean, the base building, the survivability, I guess the customizability of like all the vehicles. I think like there's so many things that I love about that game. There's so many things to love about that game that Craze and I can have like very different experiences about it.
Yeah, I think that it's like I have a thought now about the way that they, like, for instance, a big thing in Subnautica games is like the resources, right? Let's say you get a blueprint for something, you're like, whoa, ultra high capacity O2 tank. Oh, I'd love to make that. Oh shit, where do I get diamond? Or like, where do I get magnesium? Like, sometimes you haven't explored to those places and you have no clue where to get them. And in Subnautica 1, the map is entirely circular with like multiple layers of depth. So like whenever I was playing it, I was in like early high school. So I looked up, where do I get magnesium? And then they would tell me like, oh, go to the, whatever it was, like I think it was like the heat vents on the backside of the island. And I'm like, where the hell is, like, I don't know where that is. And so I went and I explored and I found it. But I still, at the end of the day, had to look it up. And in Subnautica 2, a way that they have diverted from that expectation is they have laid out the map in a way where it is more linear and not so much like you're in the middle to start and you got to go in every direction. And they may eventually add an aspect of that where you're going in every direction. But right now, as the game is built at the moment, it's more linear. And I think that benefits... It removes your need to look up, like, where do I, like, for you, Eddie, to look up, where do I find these Cyclops parts? Or it removes for me to be like, the need for, like, where do I find this resource? Because you know what direction it's pointing you, and you know it's like, okay, well, I need this resource, and if I haven't found it yet, I know what direction I gotta go to find it, and it's gonna be further and deeper down. Like, that's been kind of how they've built the second game so far. And it makes it a lot more comforting.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. It's like, okay, and each of these biomes has very specific resources that spawn, and then it's, you know, oh, I know where to get that because I've had to progress. I've had to travel back and forth between these biomes. Especially if you build your base in the original starting area, you have to travel through these biomes very often and see these resources. So it's a lot more like you're constantly being exposed to these resources rather than having to go off to the blood kelp zone randomly to get, what is it, blood oil? Was that what you get from the, I forget, I think it's what it's called.
Yeah.
Like randomly one-off resources from the other side of them. It's very good. It's super, super cool. I cannot, like, I can't stop thinking about it. And I finished it like 4 hours ago, and I'm still reeling about just like where they left things as well. I wouldn't say it's a cliffhanger, but it's pretty cool where they leave. I don't know. Actually, Zercy, you got all the way to the end, right?
Yeah.
So you got to the
I got to the point where it said,
literally, okay.
Oh, this is all we got. Yeah.
I liked that. I feel like that was because we almost missed it. Like if I had not, well, I'm not getting into spoilers. If I had not done a certain thing and seen a certain thing and come across a certain thing sheerly by just exploring the area around me, I don't think I would have known that there was more to do. Like that was genuinely where we were at. I was playing with a friend.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember exactly like how we came across it. Yeah, I think we were mainly the same way, where it was like, I think we found the main goal that you needed to do to get into that place, you know? Yeah. We found that pretty early, and so it gave us a pretty good like goal. And I always like, and I think the game is kind of, I feel like it's also very nice because there are pretty clear defined goals for you to go after. I'm not sure how different that is from the first game. I'm assuming it's similar. But like that one was a big one with just the amount of resources you needed. And so like having that payoff of like, it's like a big discovery and you get to go in and explore. It's like really cool.
Yeah, it definitely, the first game, I think the only thing I can think of that was from the first game that was closely relevant to that, like amount of resources you needed, was like ending the game, building your rocket ship, the platform, and then leaving the island. And or leaving the planet, and that's the end of that game. But like in this, it's not even the halfway point probably for where they're going to lead it to.
Wait, what?
Not in terms of like where the alpha's at now, but the end of the alpha is probably not even halfway to the end of the game of where they're aiming it.
Oh my god! I thought you said the rocket isn't even halfway.
Oh no! I'm talking about the second.
The end of the alpha. I was like, you built a rocket in the alpha?
No. We haven't said anything about the second game's alpha. Nothing specific about it. The rocket is from the first game. That was the rocket I was referring to. Now, maybe you do build a rocket in this. I don't know. You had to play it to find out.
Would it be too much spoilers to say the overall goal? Like, what is our purpose on this planet? Or is that too much of a spoiler?
It's still to be determined at the ending point. Because it seems like they're leaving it up to you. Like the direction it's putting you in is they're providing you with information about this planet. And unlike the first game where it was very clear, like, okay, my goal is to escape, where they leave you in this. Well, actually, I'm not even going to say that because that's a spoiler. They leave you in a different. Wow. You are in a different position as a survivor on this planet than you were in the first game. And I won't go into more details, but it is a different predicament that you're in. And I think that is one of the best things they could have done is change. Because whenever I started playing, I was worried it's going to be the exact same thing as the first game, like story-wise, map-wise, like progression-wise, it's all going to be the same. But they've done a very good job of like keeping the essence of the original and then adding some new flavor to it.
So the setup's not the same then, because the setup that we know is that you crash landed and you have to get off this planet. So that's not the same setup in the second
It's not the same. It's not the exact same.
Interesting. No. Do you crash land?
I'm not going to go into spoilers, man. You got to play to find out.
How is it a spoiler, bro?
What do you think?
It's like, no, it actually is a spoiler. Because you find out, like, you think one thing and then you find out it's another.
Oh my God, is this like Project Hail Mary? Which I think we can spoiler at this point. It's been out for long enough. Where it's like,
I wouldn't. That movie is still making a lot of money in box office, or not just box office, but also like some people may not have seen it, and it's a really good. I would not want to spoil that movie for somebody after watching it. It's super.
What if we put a spoiler warning?
Spoiler warning.
Okay, spoiler warning. Yeah.
So in Project Hail Mary, just skip ahead. Like this is your last chance. Skip ahead like 2 or 3 minutes or some shit. I don't know. This guy wakes up not knowing what he was doing on this ship, and it turns out he was, I forgot the term. It was like when you force someone on a ship to like go do a task or whatever, or like forcibly enlist someone. I forgot the exact, I don't know. After reading the plot summary, I learned a new word, but then I promptly forgot it. Anyways, like he finds out along the way, or he has flashbacks. He starts regaining his memories about why he was there. And can y'all hear the sirens in the background?
I do.
Why he was there. And like, thank you. The mic is expensive and evidently picks up everything. Zercy knows about this. Every time I go to the bathroom and I
get to the point
to
before the spoiler warning ends. You gave him 1 to 2 minutes. You gotta go.
That he like the Ryland Grace fucking forgets, or he remembers as he goes like what led him there essentially and why he was there.
Did he remember that? I thought that he was always left in a state of like not knowing. Was there a point where I don't think there was a point where he remembered. I don't think so, because what did he piece it together from?
His memories. Like he knew that he was abducted by the CIA lady. Or
I don't
some
think
shit.
I thought that he was like still just operating on being alone in space, and that's pretty much all he knew. And then he just knew he had to keep going. I thought that
really.
I don't know. Maybe
because it had in the movie there were like a bunch of flashbacks, right?
But I think that was more to show us how he got in this situation. I don't think it was him remembering, because I think if he remembered that, he would have been in a way worse state, and there probably would have been a whole different arc in the movie of him grappling with those feelings, or showing some way that he's grappling with those feelings. But instead, it was more like he knows his objective, but that's all he really knows. I don't know.
I might have to go rewatch the movie and see like what if there's any hints in his internal monologue, because let me think.
Maybe he does. I'm not.
It is an amazing movie, by the way, y'all. Everyone,
I think your spoiler warnings
go watch
by the way. So
yeah, okay. Well, no more spoiler warnings. I gotta put some timestamp in the description. But no, that was a really good movie, visually stunning. I think people said the book was really cringe, which I mean, like, then again, his name isn't Ray Bradbury. I forgot.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. Or no, not Ryan. Well, we love Ryan Gosling. Jesus, we love Ryan Gosling.
Ray Bradbury.
No, I love Ray Bradbury, bro. What should we call it? The author of the book, Andy Weir. That guy, the way he writes characters, I think is pretty cringe, including in The Martian and in like they're fun, but it's like kind of cringe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I forgot my point.
You were going to relate this back to Subnautica. You were going to relate this back to like the way that they subvert expectations is similar or not to how they do it in Subnautica.
Yeah, well, I haven't played the game yet. Right. I'm like waiting for it to go on sale, but I don't think it will because it was early access.
Yeah, it won't for a while. It's not that fair. I would highly recommend. I mean, because you're not just buying it now, you're buying it for when the game is fully out. And I think experiencing it at the state it is, I mean, compared to where it was early access before when they only had 5 devs, to experiencing it now with their full dev team at this early access, it's like its own game in itself. I got 10 plus hours of straight content in that game.
Wait, yeah, these screenshots look so good. And so I know I think the only vehicle that you get, and I saw this from the devlogs, so it's not really a
The
spoiler.
dev hour.
Yeah, the dev hours. Was the tadpole, which is like the sea moth but better apparently. I just really hope they bring the Cyclops back.
Sea moth, but different. That's an interesting thing. I don't know if they're gonna bring in a Cyclops-esque.
They have to. I mean, that made the game for me. I can't lie.
I don't know. I mean, I like the direction they're
That made
going
the
with
first
the
game.
with the tadpole right now.
Yeah, I think they've made a pretty good like foundation of how to.
Yeah, it's definitely
I
different.
I like the system in place.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely better. It's
Interesting.
certainly an improvement from the stupid sea truck.
Oh Jesus, we haven't even talked about Subnautica Below
because there's
Zero
nothing to
yet.
talk about. I mean, I played that game when it was in early access, and I remember like exploring. I think they had almost the entire map fully fleshed out. I remember exploring and doing as much as I could, and I was like, wow, there's just nothing to. This is just boring. It doesn't go deeper than like 200 meters ever, which is a big problem. I think that's probably their largest issue was that they had. I mean, the land segment was fine, it's whatever, but the fact that it never had like a deep dark place like the Lost River, I think that really damaged them.
And also, I don't know, they just tried to do so many things differently, and I don't think they realized the strengths of their first game. Like they didn't know their own strengths, and they started eliminating the strengths in favor to like shake things up. But in that process, they just made it worse. Because I downloaded Subnautica Below Zero after playing through Subnautica, and I knew, like I fully well knew that Subnautica 2 was not received remotely as well as the first game. I was like, well, I'll give it a try anyways, because why not? And it was probably on sale. And then, well, let me just check my playtime. And I got through 100 minutes of it, and I haven't picked it up since.
Yeah, I put probably, actually, let me check my playtime. I put a lot of time into it. I also will say that it was the devs. At this point, there was some like turnover between the what's the developing group called? Is it Outer Worlds, Other Worlds, something?
Unknown Worlds.
Unknown Worlds.
Yeah.
So this they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
they were going through some like transitional period, and so the people who were making the decisions wasn't the original dev. It was like a production group
Interesting.
or something. So it was not a pure like it wasn't the devs making the decision from the first game. But this game is the return to the original. Like this says the original devs with full
yeah, that
creative
makes sense
control.
because it's been so
Let's see.
well received.
I have
I'm gonna take a
17.5
piss. Y'all
hours.
keep on continuing.
I have 17 and a half hours in Below Zero. I don't even remember. That's kind of a disgusting amount of time to have in that game, especially considering it was all in early access. So I literally played the shit. Wow, that's crazy to have that much time. I mean, maybe I'll go back and play it now. Honestly, I need to install it.
Yeah, I don't really know much about it other than that I have not heard amazing things
I think it's
about Below Zero.
It's not bad. It's just not as good as the first one. It's like not as good as the first one, and it's a little bad, but it has aspects that are redeeming and pretty cool about it. Like the land travel, and there's like a speed bike thing that you hop on, you can ride around on, which is interesting. I know the story is like you directly talk to like aliens, like the precursor aliens from the first game. You get to see their homeworld for like a glimpse. So there's stuff like that where I think they tried to do a lot of lore connection. Also, the fact that you're not alone, like you're not isolated, I think takes away a lot from the Subnautica game. And they brought that back in the second game for sure. I mean, they brought that back heavy in the second game because at where they left you in the end of the alpha, you are very alone. You feel very alone. Meanwhile, second game, your intro cutscene has you yapping with somebody the whole time who's just in orbit. Not so good. Man, we just had like what? It was like a 20-minute segment on Subnautica or something crazy. That was a lot of time.
I mean, I really enjoyed playing it. I think Eddie wants me to play it again, and
I'd be down to play it again. It's a blast. I want to learn, like, I'm at the point where I want to learn every inch of that map. I mean, there was a point. Well, I don't want to touch. But there was a point in the game where I wasn't even like halfway through it, and I thought that I was at the 80% mark, and was like, oh, this is about to be all that was what I expected to be in an alpha. Eddie says this PP time turned into a poo-poo time. Okay. Well, guess he's gonna be occupied for a minute. But no, I ran into a point where I thought that I was almost done, and then my friend was like, no, we're like 60% of the way. Not even. And that was when I was like, well, there's no way that there's this much content. And then I came back today. He convinced me to come back and keep playing it. And then I reached one new area, and I'm like, holy shit, this game has so much more to offer. it's just incredible. And if they keep going at this rate, like if the game is only, even if this is just the halfway mark for the game, and there's only going to be another like basically take what they've done so far and then double it, and then that's the rest of the game. I think that's plenty for a standalone Subnautica game. Like that's more than what I would expect.
Right.
But I
don't know. Like I don't know exactly how long. Like how long was the first?
It was, I think on average you could probably get it done in like 20, 25 hours of playtime maybe. I mean, if you knew what you were doing, probably 10 to 15 hours. But you still, I mean, traversing the map. The fact that it's a circular map and there's stuff spread out everywhere and you have to go to different places to get different resources to build endgame stuff, like that definitely added time. I think that them changing their map to being more linear in the second one has cut down significantly. And also with one of the new tools that they've added with like, the one with collecting resources, significantly cut down the time needed to collect resources and get the stuff you need to build stuff. But I could see if they continue expanding the game in the way that they've been running it so far, it could start taking a very long time to get all the resources that you need if they don't do certain things. Like,
yeah, and there is like a little bit where some resources that you would find you would find just the upgraded variant of it instead in the place of that like lower tier one.
True, but they also still, I mean, you still had to get like titanium for a long time. Like titanium is still useful up until the very end.
Right.
But yeah, I get what you mean. It's definitely there's a lot of resources. They have a they might even be approaching on like too many different resources in the game.
I think I kind of wish that they made some things more useful than they are.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like a couple of the resources, and especially like some of the stuff like not the ores, are a little bit too like you use it like one time maybe, like for like one upgrade, and then apart from that you like barely use it.
Yeah.
And I think they could probably find a way to kind of make those, at least either use different resources, like consolidate them a little bit, or do something like I'm not gonna say just like add more items that use it, but like,
well, I should definitely add a new vehicle. I think adding another vehicle implies adding like new upgrades for the vehicle progression and stuff like that. And I think that would be a great avenue to introduce either needing some of those lesser needed resources before, or introducing like more or newer resources that you didn't need prior.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I think that, I think that the amount of resources they have right now that's used in crafting at this state in the game is nearing the same amount as the original games, as it's like full game. So I'm a little concerned that they might be going a little too ham on that stuff. But I do like that you the ease of accessing those resources remains easy the further you progress in the game. Like, I mean, you've noticed that, right? Like as you progress further into the alpha, it's not like it becomes more and more difficult to get those resources that were only in spawn. Like those travel with you. So they want you to move with the map and move with the story rather than base yourself in the shallows and then only ever stay in your... Actually, it's a good metaphor for like staying in your comfort zone, honestly. I mean, a lot of people build in the shallows in the first game.
I love what they did with you're referring to, where you move along with the story beat. I love that.
Because there's that hesitation to like not move. You're like, oh, this is gonna be a pain. I gotta move all my stuff. I gotta build a new base. Blah blah blah. Do all that stupid stuff. But like the way that they've created this map is it encourages you to do that. And at a certain point, you're like, it's more like at a certain point when we built a new base, me and my friend, we completely abandoned the old base. Like I thought in my brain, oh yeah, I'll be going back to that base probably to like collect, like bring resources over, or to like, still use it as a home base out of. And this new base is just like a little like a little safety net thing out.
Like an outpost.
Yeah. But that became the core base. And I hadn't, for the past 5 hours of gameplay, I never went back to that old base once. There was no need to. You can get everything you had in the old base in this new area and more. So there's just like more and more and more, and then encourages you to play more of the game, and encourages you to like explore building new bases in new ways, building in new areas, like experiencing new things. It's just super. God, it's just so good. I'm gushing grannies over it. It's amazing.
I will say the only problem I really ended up having with that was because of it being early access and stuff, a lot of it's not really possible to build in a lot of the places you might want to.
True.
Which when you're actually like choosing the location of that second base is actually like a pretty big problem.
Yeah. That's for sure.
But because like there were a couple places where I'm like, I think this would be like really cool, and it's like, you can't build there.
Yep.
And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I think that they'll probably polish some of that. I mean, they also, I mean, you go to the barrier in the map and they're just like, you can't build. Like that's a very shoehorned in way to just like prevent you from breaking the game, because I think they want this alpha to be as polished as it can be. Because I think the support that they get from this alpha is going to directly correlate to like how much time and effort they're allowed to put into continuing. They're probably, I mean, after Sub-Zero,
the execs
or after Below Zero,
the execs were probably like,
they're like, I mean, we fucked this up again. Like it's over, right? If this if this doesn't get traction like the first game does, or the first game did, it probably like we're not going to be allowed to put in a bunch of time and resources from our producers to like make our true vision come true. And so they've just erred on the side of caution, I think, and just being like, hey, it's probably best to not let you like build that dream base that you might have in this tiny little cavern, because it would just cause potential issues, or build off the side of the map, which they've added a very fun mechanic to deal with that. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, it's all very ominous and very exciting when you all say this.
It's great.
I have to experience it for myself. What was all that stuff with the legal bullshit that they had to go to? I heard it got resolved, but I forgot exactly what the context was.
It was, I believe, the company that was. It was something with the CEO like using some kind of it was
I don't want CEO using some kind of legal loophole or some shit so that he could get his money and run, right? Something like that.
Oh, you're talking about when they tried to get scammed out of the CEO trying to get his like bonus. Wasn't that it? When he was trying to get his like bonus from it, and yeah, that was what happened after the Below Zero stuff. I forget the specifics, but it was a pretty like scummy thing to try and do, where you just try to dip and like cut the Subnautica devs out of their deal to get a certain bonus, because they were promised if like the game sells this many copies in this amount of time, or it has this review, they'll get like a really nice end of year bonus. And then the CEO, even though they met that goal and exceeded it, the CEO somehow, I think in some way, like decimated that agreement, and then they didn't get their it was the parent company. It was the CEO of the parent company, who was the one who was making a lot of the decisions in Below Zero, which is why it was so shit. Scammed them out of that, which just shows how much control that he had and that parent company had over the devs of Unknown Worlds. And then they ended up suing, getting their bonus, and then also damages as well. And then they also, as a contingent part of that that settlement, they also got full creative control over the next Subnautica game, which is why we're getting like this. And that was, I think, a few years ago that happened. But it was a pretty big deal.
Because because of that like whole legal fiasco was the reason why they decided just to push it out as the open beta, correct? Just to kind of like recoup their losses a little bit.
Yeah, I think that they wanted to gauge people's interest in the Subnautica franchise and see like if people were ready for another Subnautica game. Because Below Zero really, like, it may feel like it was a long time ago. It really wasn't that long ago that it was made, relatively. It got pumped out pretty quickly after the first game was full release. I mean, the first game was in alpha and testing and beta for a long time. But once the first game fully released, the second game came within a few years after that. And so they wanted to give it some time to breathe after that legal fiasco happened, after the second game kind of flopped. And I think people are ready for it. And I haven't looked at the reviews for Subnautica 2, but I can go pull it up on Steam right now. Let's see. Subnautica.
I mean, I know they're probably raving. Like,
and by the way, I want to point out, Subnautica 2 right now is the same. It's $30. It's the same price as the original, which it probably shouldn't be. But I think that if it keep going in the direction that they've made it go in so far, I think that it's very well worth the $30, especially if they're going to continue making it like the quality that they've made it so far, which they definitely will. Because why would they not?
You think it should be less expensive or more expensive?
Maybe at this point less expensive because it's in alpha.
Fair.
But at the same time, when you buy it now, you never have to buy it again.
Inflation.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it's a $30 game and it's this quality in the state that we are in expenses for games is kind of incredible, because you're getting $70 AAA games that are significantly worse quality than this. And you're getting that like
I
every
think the last single player action adventure that I played, which it's not single player survival or whatever, was like I played Alan Wake 2, which was very fun, and I played Horizon Zero Dawn. But both of those are like the AAA action adventure, a single player type, and they're all pretty damn expensive. So I'm like, when I got the first Subnautica, especially so long after it had came out and it was on sale, I mean, that probably like $10 or $15 that I spent was so well worth it. Like, I mean, like I can't put it into words how well worth it is. So
I did. Okay, there was something that I forgot about with the second game that they're kind of in hot water right now because of this. The EULA agreement for the second game, basically, whenever you buy it, you make the agreement that you don't officially own the game fully, even though you've purchased it, which is like stupid slop that Unknown Worlds did not. The devs did not want that to be a thing. It's some bigwig CEO in the parent company doing that, like the producers doing that. But I don't think that it's ever going to be an issue where like they're going to revoke your ability to play the game. Especially considering, I mean, even though it's a multiplayer game, there's not live servers they're having to manage. It's local hosted, so it shouldn't be really an issue at all. I think that's only ever an agreement that gets put in place because some of these games, these live service games that they don't want to like hold and maintain live servers anymore. They just put that in there so that they can just
easy way out.
Like the Crew had that. The Crew 2 had that a few years ago, and people were pissed about it because I owned the Crew 2, but like once they decided to just stop supporting the game, it just stopped being supported, and you couldn't play it anymore. It sucks.